last year I thought of math as kind of like this, like kids could show proficiency, but the way that I was teaching math before, it was really hard for them to excel and show me something that I didn't expect, you know? Whereas in writing, that is possible because they're producing, you know, they're producing something novel and unique. And I kind of want to give my kids the opportunity to do that in math as well. So a few weeks ago when we were talking about whether it really is important for them to be able to like show me a new way to show this number that I've never taught them. Like I think that's why it's important, because it allows them to show excellence and to show creativity in a way that wasn't possible the way that I was teaching numbers before. So the problem that I'm running into as I'm looking back at my blog and all of the things that I said I would do, like I just haven't done any of them, and there are great ideas in here, and the issue is that I also have collected like a few different sets of the same kind of data, which is the 3x5 card, draw a line down the middle, show me 2 different ways, show this number. When we were just wrapping up our 0 through 10 unit, my kids were kind of nailing it. Like they were showing me lots of different representations, almost all of them accurately, and there were a few kids who weren't able to do that. And then we completely switched gears in math, and then we did this big geometry unit, and we like spiral back to numbers here and there, but the data that I collected yesterday like was of way lower quality than 2 months ago, and they were 2 months younger 2 months ago, and so I'm a little bit disappointed by that. But I feel like what I need help with is coming up with systems to collect data regularly, and also feedback on whether this is a good data source. Like whether, one thing, I'll just add one more thing that I was thinking is that maybe my data source should be take this 3x5 card and show me as many ways as you can think of, instead of limiting them to 2, and then coding like which are the ways that I've taught that they're showing me and which are like new ways, and then see if like there's development over time, because I think my goal is to have them master the ways that I've taught, but then also be thinking about other ways by the end of the year.
But I would love to like delve deeper into like what didn't they do? Like I would love to look at what you say, like kind of soft to like, because that might sometimes that gives more insight than the kid who can do it a million different ways. So like, is it that they internalized it wrong? Like, did they learn a misconception, or is it that they just couldn't represent it at all? Or like, what does that really mean? And maybe I was doing too many things at once, like maybe I missed it, but I'd like to hear more about that.
And it sounds like right now you're sort of grappling with, like when we're thinking about indicators of success, is it, like I heard you talking about, do I want them to just show 2 different ways, draw a line down the middle, and there are 2 ways on the card, or do I want them to have as many ways as they can? So, I think that that's kind of the place where it makes sense to think about, what Carrie was saying, what does success look like for my kids? In an ideal world, what would my most successful, what would a student who's being successful do?
This is my data from yesterday, which like is disappointing and frustrating.
That's some of the best data.
That's the best data. Like, you gotta look at it closely. Yeah.
Disappointing as a teacher,
So
but it's great as a
middle
Mills teacher scholar.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try to just sit with that. But so
what were they not doing?
So what was the task first? Just really quick.
Okay, so I told them to show me 2 different ways.
To do what?
To draw the number 7.
Okay.
To represent the number 7.
Okay.
So this kid, for example, is like really trying. Like there's a lot going on here, and we kind of use this, I put this paper in a sleeve, and we use a whiteboard marker, and like we do it every now and then. So it has counting objects in this corner. It has a number line in this. This is like he's trying to replicate the number line. This is a 10 frame, and then this is the bar model. So
is this
he's
success?
trying to show me.
Would you consider this to be a successful?
I mean, so it's not.
Do any of these show 7? This one.
This one does.
Wow.
1, 2, 3.
And does he have
5, 6? Why? Okay. I'm like, did he skip the number 7?
Because also the idea is that you're showing 7 of one thing.
Right.
I don't know
That's
if
what
he
I was
quite gets that. I have a few kids.
They're all shapes.
That's true.
I mean, you know, the mind of a 5-year-old. Hey, they're all shaped. They're not all flowers. They're all. Yeah, there's a
Right,
triangle,
right.
a rectangle, and.
It's not like you've got like bicycles and ice cream.
Okay, but here, like on the number line, he drew the number line.
But he didn't circle
If he
7
had marked
or-
7, that would have been.
Right, so a misconception definitely with the number line is I have a lot of kids, it's interesting that he wrote the number 8 because I have a lot of kids who are
Just stop at
writing
7.
1 through 7 and saying that shows 7, not understanding that like it can have as many numbers as you want on it. And it's like kind of the jumps or the not, you know, like,
But look here, he broke down 7
Yeah,
to 3 and
right.
4.
So
that to me,
that's-
is super successful.
yeah. And
That's
he-
like he's. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
that's
almost
what
an
our bar
equation,
model,
right?
So the bar model that I'm using with them is like one big rectangle. Do you have a pen, either of you?
No.
Yes.
So this is what we have on the thing. Okay, so what I've taught them to do is to put the number that they're working with, put that many dots in the top
Right.
rectangle,
But
right?
you've taught them to do exactly what he's
And
done.
then break it up
5, 6,
into
7.
any way you want, you
So
know?
he's shown.
So-
So he's
So he has
shown
two.
you 2 ways, and then he's shown you 2 other ways
That
that
are
are
not quite comfortable.
not quite
Well, this
there.
is also, yeah, I mean,
So
he's,
2 out of
he's
4
really, I think, interested in like, yeah, like,
So can
Okay.
you draw some indicators out of that as a? I mean, can you say he
I mean,
was
the
successful
indicators
because
that are coming to mind are kind of what I've already said, like either being able to produce the ways that I've taught, which I think at this point in the year, if they can accurately do that,
Okay.
that is kind of what I expect out of them, right?
Okay, so-
But then I have a couple of kids,
Well, this is interesting because they wrote the number 7.
yeah.
Is that up on the board or somewhere?
No.
Or they're counting that from memory?
I mean, they have like a number line on their table,
Oh, look,
but they
this
had to
one
find
jumped.
it. And yep,
Yeah,
and
so did this
she's
one.
like, she's one of my students who came in with. I have 2 girls who came in with nothing and like are really enjoying this work with numbers.
seven
You
on
know,
So yours,
So that's 2
2
different ways.
right?
Okay, so it sounds like for your indicators, you're thinking these kids so far that we've looked at are producing ways to represent 7 that you've taught them. But another indicator, or maybe another layer of indicators, would be
To do it a different
doing
way.
it in a novel way.
yeah, I don't
Or
know.
This is
more than
kinda
2
interesting.
ways, or, and it's interesting because indicators of success I've usually thought about as sort of side by side. Are they doing this? Are they doing this? Are they doing this? But it sounds like here what you're thinking about is like layers. I mean, I guess looking at these, do you care if it's novel or it's not? Do you care
I
if
kind
it's
of
something you
do,
taught?
yeah.
Yeah, I hear you talking about novel. Oh, this is fascinating because
But
they're
it's not
kind
that
of
I
all over.
expect novel, you know, but I think that that's an indicator of excellence.
I don't know why you're
Use.
disappointed by this because almost everybody has at least one way to show 7, except for
Okay.
maybe a couple. I don't know what this is, but.
I don't have the data from, like, the first set of data that I collected for Mills, which was like late October, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe it just felt neater and tighter. And I had kids back then showing me 5, 6 ways, you know?
Do you think
Which,
maybe there's a reason, like, have you pulled back in the way that everybody does it? Like, because this seems like there's a little bit more
There's
fluidity
less,
with, like, different ways to do it.
more fluidity. It feels like there's less fluidity.
So you're finding that they're being less creative about it.
Yeah.
Well, because you've taught them
Because
a lot
you've
of
taught them
ways.
ways,
They're trying
so
to do
they're-
what you taught them. I mean, I don't know.
Right, right.
But
Well, I wonder, I mean, if they're so used to these ways now, why, you know, when you, it's kind of like we sort of crush their spirits as they come into school, like you learn how to do it, you know?
Right.
Even
It's
if,
also-
no, I know.
It's
not
also
in
like
first
I
grade,
teach
but
them every way that I can think of, and for them to come up with something
another
new
way.
is like
At
I don't
this
even know what it
point,
would
right.
be. You know?
I don't know that can they,
So, but for example, like some of them are doing that actually. Like I haven't reviewed with them like writing 1 through 7 as a sequence is another way. So I think kind of my end goal is also to get them to show as another way. You know, like by the end of the year, if they're showing me 7, they can show all of these ways plus 5 and 2, 6 and 1, 4 and 3, 0 and 7. You know, and
Right.
like noticing
Combos.
those
Yeah.
as other representations of the same number. Because I have collected data a few times, but I haven't collected it regularly, and I think I want to like schedule it in and do it like every 2 weeks or something. Just, and then if I'm doing that every 2 weeks and like looking quickly at everybody's, but then coding maybe like 3 kids, I think that would be a good thing to do for me.
Yeah, I that, just to add on to what you just said, though, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is like, I would have just a spreadsheet, these are gonna be your 3 kids, date these, either
I
take a
don't
picture
know.
or keep them, or whatever it is, and then have them so that you can compare, like, if we wanted to look at the October, and then we look at now, and we look at January.
Yeah.
And just see, like, what are we seeing this kid doing, like, even just to look as closely as, like, she did it one way, she erased it, like, and maybe to
Right.
observe them while they're doing it, just as, because you're asking for another
Right,
set of
right,
data.
that's
Like,
true.
what is she doing? Where
Right.
did she get this
There's
idea? Did she get it from this kid over here? Or was this, you know, just to watch, even just watch one of them really carefully and write what they
I would
did?
just start with the 2. Pick one of those girls
Yeah.
and Victor,
Okay.
and just focus on them. The other piece is that, I know this is out of the protocol,
I know,
but, your data source should be something that's not, that you're just doing already, and it sounds like, I mean, this,
It's
it
so hard
seems
in
like you're trying to make
K.
yourself do more work, and so,
Well,
it is hard in
yeah.
K.
They're not producing a lot of written work, you
Right.
know? That's like the same thing again and again.
No, I'm not telling you not to pick this, I just
Yeah.
think, you're gonna set yourself up to constantly say, oh, I should have looked at my list and done that last time, but I
Yeah.
Has to be
didn't, I
something
need to
you're
sit down
doing,
and do
yeah.
it. So, if you
Right.
can think just in terms of your process, you know, as a middle scholar, if you can
Yeah.
think about ways to make it easier on yourself, so you don't
Mhm.
have to, every single meeting, feel like, oh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, or I didn't look at that, or I didn't think
Yeah.
about that. Like, what did you do that's just part
Yeah.
of your daily life as a teacher? I think that sort of globally will help just not feel like some, you know,
Stressful.
every
Yeah.
week you come and you're like, oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've
But
done
we
quite a
all-
lot. You've